Welcome students to the another lecture of website designing. In this lecture, we will focus on website design principles. Design for the medium. So we know that a website is designed for the computer. Web page is displayed on the computer and it cannot be treated like a paper or a physical paper. We know that in a web page, look and feel is very important. The interface that the user must navigate often is called the look and feel of the web page. And users look and feel when they explore the information and design of the site. So this look and feel property of a page implies the personality that a website conveys to the user. Every web page that is actually viewed by the user conveys some information about the personality or the look and feel of that website. So look and feel is very important. It is also necessary that whatever website design you choose, it should be portable. You know that your websites may be viewed using different browsers, different operating systems, different computer platforms. So a website must be portable across different browsers, operating systems, and computer platforms. So it is necessary that when we design a website, we need to test the website in different browsers. At least we should test the website in the browsers which are supposed to be the very popular browsers like Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, Firefox, etc. And certain features of HTML like CSS, cascading style sheets, sometimes they are not interpreted properly by certain browsers. So if necessary, we can design separate websites for different types of browsers and we ask the user to choose the appropriate version of the website to view that particular website. Also, we need to check the website in different browsers. It may be possible that a website which is designed for a desktop PC may not be usable on a mobile device. You know, there are differences uh, on the basis of screen size between a mobile device and a desktop PC. We should also take care how much bandwidth the website is actually using when the user is browsing the website. You know that different users, they would be having different internet connections. Some of them would be using dial-up connections, some of them would be having broadband network connections, or some of them would be using cable connections. So all the different users who are visiting the website, they would be using different internet connections and they would be having different internet speed. So it is necessary that we think about the designing of web page so that these may be accessible at different internet connection speeds. We should avoid to keep large images, complicated animations, movies, as they would take a lot of time out of the browser to download and display. We can also provide alternate text by using the alt tag of HTML. Design an alternate page that uses less graphics so that it can be downloaded quickly for users with a slow connection. So this last option could be one of the viable options to the user who are actually using a slow internet connection and they can use the page which is actually using less graphics or containing less number of images. So we know that a web page displays information. So presentation of information is very important, important for the user. Information design means the presentation and organization of your information. So this is the most important factor in determining the success of a website. Don't use too many fonts and colors. Try to use 3 or 4 fonts or colors, as more number of colors will distract the user. Provide direct links to the areas in a website where you think are the most in demand. Try to use contrasting colors so that the text may be easy to read. Like for example, in the current slide, we see that the text is written in the black and the background is white. On the computer screen, the users tend to scan rather than read the home page. So when a user is visiting a website, they scan the web page from top to bottom and they want to see what kind of information that website has. So it is necessary that we should plan for clear presentation of information. We should not write large paragraphs. We should divide them into smaller ones. We should provide a suitable heading so that the user can find it quickly. Break up long text into columns. Link text using hyperlinks. You know that different users, they would be using desktop, laptop or any other device which would be having different screen resolutions, and this resolution should be your web page should be designed such that if the user is opening the website in any of these resolutions, then the design should be look like good. It should not be that if they are using the low resolution, the website is not able to adjust itself according to the resolution. So we know that the resolution is looking like this: 640 into 480, 800 into 600, and 1024 into 768. It is actually SD resolution. There are fixed resolutions design. You can create the web page using the fixed resolution designs, or you can choose the flexible resolution designs. So if you look at one thing, you should always remember that every website you design, every website a person designs, it has a certain objective. So generally the name of the website is chosen to reflect the purpose or the objective of that website, and once a user looks into the website, that objective has to be clear. Now you see one example of a web page. You see the name is very surprising, and if you look at the information in this web page, it is too much, and you are not able to find out what kind of information it is there. So this is not a good design of a website. Now you know that a website consists of a number of web pages. So we should design the whole website. We should think about the whole website, and we should follow the same theme structure across all web pages of the website. So the theme reflects the personality of your organization. You should choose a theme depending upon the organization or depending upon the objective your website is there. So consider the website of a ESA. So it is actually using sober and subdued colors. If you are designing a website for children, then it is better that if you use good visuals, bright colors, lively animations, and big font. So you see a design of a web page. You see the pictures, and you know that a website consists of a number of web pages which are linked together using the hyperlinks, and the user go back and forth across different web pages of your website using these hyperlinks. So we need to create the smoother transitions among the web pages. So it is necessary that we create a unified look among the web pages. We reinforce the identifying elements of the website, create smooth transitions from one page to the another, and this is done by repeating colors and fonts for similar page elements. For example, or paragraph headings in a particular font and color on all the pages. So it means that if you are using hyperlinks in different uh, web pages, they should follow the same theme, they should follow the same structure, they should follow the same font. And this is applicable to your text, this is applicable to your paragraph, this is applicable to your body text. And sometime if you feel that your web page contains some information which can be divided into rows and columns, so you can choose a grid to provide a better visual structure of the information. So a grid can provide a uniform look to all the pages of a website, and the table element in HTML can be used to build this grid of pages. Table is nothing but a number of rows and number of columns, and they are properly aligned and it looks better. Another way of creating a grid is by using the concept of frames, and this is actually done using the frame set tag in HTML. Now, we should also think about the use of active white spaces. So white spaces are the areas which are the blank areas of a web page. White space is the area between the text. It could be between the images and the text or paragraph, etc. White space defines the areas of the page. It is actually separating your content from one content to another. So white space that is deliberately used is called active white space. And passive white spaces are the blank areas that appear on the border of the screen due to the screen resolution problems. So we try to avoid the passive white spaces, and we try to deliberately use these active white spaces, which is providing a better look and feel to the information present in the web page. So you see one example here. Uh, all the green boxes, they actually contain some information on this web page. It could be text, it could be image, it could be hyperlink, or it could be any other thing. So the gap between these is known as the active white space, and passive white space is something which is actually remaining after you have some content in the web page. So if there are less number of white spaces, it provides the impression that the web page contains too much information and it becomes difficult to read or understand sometimes. It is difficult to find information on a page that does not have sufficient active white spaces because the gap between the content on a web page is very less, and that creates a problem for the user. And if you use a plenty of active white spaces, it will uh, reduce the clutter in your web page. It provides navigation elements on the same position in all the web pages, that it means it provides better uniformity and ease of use. So white space can be created by line spacing, by putting margins, space around a paragraph or a picture, by putting headings, by putting images that can be used to separate text. So you see that this is one image, this is text, and this is some small paragraph, and you see the space, white space created between them. The last and the important point is that these websites are designed for the user. So we should keep in mind the user always. Why the user has come to visit our web page, what type of information does the user want, what is the purpose of the website, it is for information or entertainment. We would like more and more users to visit our website. We should think how the user is going to interact with our website. We should think about how the user will interact with a web page. If the web page is a collection of links, then the interaction will be through clicking on the content and scrolling. That is not good. You can put some of the hyperlinks into your web page whenever you feel they are important to be there. Pointing to graphics and clicking on images to reach another page. So if you are having images in your web page, it is not good that you put a large number of images into your web page, but you create a hyperlink for those images. If the user would like to visit, the user may visit. Design page into separate groups, links for different pages of physics, maths, computer science. Design for location. We do not know how the user will be viewing your web page. Okay, so we cannot predict the viewing path the user is following to view the information in your web page. But the research has shown that the areas of importance are shown in the next slide. Put most important information into the middle of your web page, that most information at the top, and so on. So most of the information, it is seen that the user most of the time would like to visit the middle of your web page, then he would like to visit the top of your web page, then he would like to visit the section 3 and then section 4 and then section 5. So accordingly, when we design a website, we can think about that we will try to keep the most important information in the middle of the web page. So when the user is visiting your website, the user would be scanning your web pages in many ways. So one of the ways is that the user would be scanning the page from left to right and then down to next line. So generally the user uh, scans the web page to get a glimpse of what kind of information it has. The order is like this. So the user is starting from the top left corner and he is coming towards right side, and then after towards left side, then after towards right bottom corner. And we should try to have the information so that we can have a flat hierarchy of information. We should provide a simple menu for navigation of items, and we should use the same navigation menu on all the pages to provide uniformity. We should also provide a sitemap so that the user may know when they are visiting a certain web page, they would like to know where they are in the website. Don't make users to navigate through too many layers to find the information they want. We can also use the power of hypertext. We know that the web pages enable a non-linear reading method. your web page can contain a number of hyperlinks, and these hyperlinks can be clicked by the visitors in any order. We can provide the hyperlinks for text, we can provide the hyperlinks for other websites or images. So we provide hyperlinks directly into the text. Don't use the name click here phrase for linking, but rather than you write the name of the content that hyperlink refers. Provide links that allow the user to jump to top of the page. We generally should have some links so that the user at all of a sudden may jump to the top or bottom of the page and go to the menu from anywhere in the page. We can also provide a hypertext table of contents. If we feel that there are a lot of contents, it is better that we provide a hypertext for each and every content in the web page. Now, how much content should be there in your web page? So don't overload the user with too much information on a single web page. You can see the websites of Google, Yahoo, Times of India, etc. And we should provide short paragraphs and links to more information for each topic. Next topic is the design for the screen. So we should know that there are a number of differences when a visitor is visiting your website on the computer screen and if you look at a printed or a physical paper. Shape of the screen, you know that it is actually landscape, but the paper most of the time it is portrait. And we know that physical paper reflects light, but a screen passes light from behind. So that's the way the screen does not appear the same as the paper. So we should provide enough contrast on page, light background and dark font when we talk about the designing of a web page. And we should avoid light text on light background because it will be making difficult to read the content by the user on the web page. And more importantly, we should always remember that computer screens they have a lower resolution than compared to a physical paper. So at the last you can see a web page and it is containing too much information, and obviously the objective of the website is also not very clear and the information is poorly presented. Okay, so this is actually an example of a worst design of a website. Thank you very much.